What's going on, y'all? This is Nate from NIYS State back at you with yet another video. And we have to talk about the situation that happened to Malcolm-Jamal Warner that happened in Costa Rica. And you guys know I am a frequent visitor in Costa Rica, and I have a couple of things that I'd like to add to the situation. And we're going to talk about the weather, how this plays into the weather that you see in Costa Rica. Tragedy struck the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica this week. Beloved actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner has reportedly passed away due to accidental drowning in Limon, a place known for its rich culture, beauty, and now heartbreak.
Tributes continue to pour in after the tragic death of actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner, famous for playing Theodore Huxtable on The Cosby Show.
And now we're learning more about his death. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has more from Los Angeles.
Costa Rican authorities releasing this image of the scene where actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner's body was found. The 54-year-old drowned in Costa Rica Sunday while on a family vacation, with police saying he was caught in a rip current while swimming near a beach in Limon. Investigators say beachgoers tried to rescue him, but it was too late. Police there saying today an autopsy completed confirmed it was accidental. Warner made America laugh for all 8 seasons of The Cosby Show, starting on the show when he was just 13 years old and was nominated for an Emmy for the role of Theo Huxtable.
You will always be my son. Thanks, Dad.
After the show ended, Warner kept acting, with parts in film and TV. From sitcoms like Malcolm and Eddie and Read Between the Lines, to more dramatic roles like Sons of Anarchy and The Resident. He won a Grammy in 2015.
The Cosby Show actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner was actively trying to save his daughter from the dangerous rip current before his accidental death by drowning. Actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner's tragic death came as he tried to save his 8-year-old daughter from dangerous rip current that saw him drown. The actor, who was best known for his portrayal as Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, drowned while swimming with his daughter in the waters of Playa Grande, Limon, Costa Rica on Sunday, July 20th. Since his death, more details have emerged regarding the harrowing experience. 2 surfers who happened to be present at the scene worked to try to save the father and daughter, who were swimming together before being caught in the rip current. One of the surfers was able to eventually pull his daughter to safety, but was unable to save Warner. Officials have since confirmed that prior to his death, the actor was also actively working to try and rescue his little girl. Head of tourist police for Costa Rica's Atlantic region confirmed, quote, both were dragged by the current, Leon shared with the publication. They were bathing together and were caught by a rip current. She continued, obviously as a father, he fought for his daughter, but the current in that area is very strong, and they couldn't accomplish this objective. The unidentified surfers who had a surfboard and a buggy board quickly jumped into action when they saw the rip current, dragged Warner and his daughter, and worked to quickly try to rescue them. However, the incident became more dangerous when one of the surfers also got caught in the current and needed to be rescued as well. They managed to stay with the little girl, managed to get her on the board, but due to the strength of the current, one of them, from Nicaragua, had to let go of the board and push it toward the shore so the little girl could make it to the land or the coast, Leon said. The person who pushed the board was also dragged in by the current, so it forced the person with the board to go back to sea to pull him out, she added. They managed to get him out in critical condition. He was very exhausted. Warner was later rescued by the Red Cross lifeguards and a rescuer from the Caribbean Guards, but already had no vital signs and was pronounced dead at the scene. Leon also shared that the area is known for its frequent rip currents, and the incident came after Warner and his daughter was rinsing off the sand at the show before deciding to take a quick dip. Warner's autopsy confirmed his death was ruled by accidental, and the cause was asphyxia due to submersion, and his body is being returned to Los Angeles for burial. Yeah, guys, there's a couple of things I can add to that. So Costa Rica's the seas is actually no joke. There is certain seasons that I recommend for travelers to travel through, and there's some seasons where it is the rainy season, which kind of makes the tides go a bit crazy. So for instance, the best times that most people would travel to Costa Rica would be November to beginning of April. That will be considered quote unquote dry season. After April and onward is what's considered to be the rain season, the wet season, where July can be just as crazy. There's other reports that I want to show you on how bad it can get. And there's people that I talk that's in Limon that's been giving me the 411 of what's been going on in that area, being how it's been raining so much. And then there's areas that has flash flooding and how quickly things could escalate. And it doesn't just revolve around, even though this is what's happening within the towns, what's happening over there affects what's happening in the ocean is what I'm saying. And the times when I was with Drummond and we went to explore further in Limon, he was telling me you got to be careful because even if you think you're safe on land, you go out like a couple of meters, not a couple of meters, you go out 1 meter out and that water can just take and drag you in. So I definitely know that it's to be true. The water is no joke. The water, like the times I was there before, you can see that the water is steady and level, but the water was so vicious that it was actually going past the shoreline, right into the street. You can see that it's reaching to the street. And I feel like I've never seen beach water act like this. That's something to keep in mind and be careful while individuals are out there in the beach, because for some reason, nature always wins against man. Man versus nature, nature would win. And you got to be careful if you don't have the proper tools, because a lot of these places does not have lifeguards. So you are at your own risk when you're out there at the sea, enjoying, I know, tranquil, peace and quiet, solo exclusive beaches that I can show you guys that is untainted by tourism. But unfortunately, some of these places you just got to be very careful, man. And as much as I love Limon, it's very dangerous to actually be out there without any supervision during the rain season. You know what I'm saying? Where the tides are actually crazy. It's great for surfers. Definitely a surfer country during this time, but it is wow. Here's one video of what's going on in Limon. This is as of 2 days ago. So that's as of 2 days ago. So you think about it like this, man. All right, guys. So how does flash floods affect the beach? So when it rains inland, even dozens of miles away, that water has to go somewhere, right? It rushes downstream, it hits the coastline with force, and this causes rip currents, sudden sandbar collapses, and unpredictable surf conditions. On top of that, high tides during the season make things worse. Here's how quickly things can escalate.
Cierra el portón, que no salgan los perros.
Within Costa Rica,
Atrapados, yeah.
Costa Rica, it says national green alert due to the arrival of a tropical wave. It's totally in Spanish. I don't want to translate it all. I'm just showing you guys the visuals or like how it can get, how bad things can practically get. And I'm just going to use this to plug in, what should travelers know when you're in these type of situations, as I've already just mentioned, right? If you're visiting Costa Rica, especially in July, do not ignore red flags on the beaches. Ask locals about the currents and avoid swimming near like river mounts. Stay as close to the shore as possible. And most importantly, don't assume it's safe just because it looks calm. So the current below could be lethal, and you just got to be careful with that. So yeah, man, you see how, the flooding pretty much affects the beaches and like the rip currents nearby. And all of this is really unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate. Here's an article that was written today as it reads, rain, rain, go away. Strong rains and storm surges causes more than 30 major landslides in Costa Rica earlier this week. Red Cross rescue units and first responders from the Fuerza Pública, the National Police Force, sprung into action to safely evacuate and render aid to more than 20,000 people in affected communities. The majority of those rescued had been motorists driving on Route 32, the main highway between connecting the Caribbean city of Limon, which the unfortunate situation happened, with the greater San Jose metropolitan area. The Spanish initials is the GAM. As of Saturday afternoon, Route 32 is still closed as rainstorms loomed in the horizon. The initial landslides took place around 6 p.m. on Thursday. By that time, strong rains had already pelted and soaked the Caribbean region of Costa Rica from Limon to the Guapales and all the way to the Central Valley. In an interview with the news daily La Prensa Libre, the emergency chief of the Ministry of Transport and Public Works at the GAM explained that the rescue operations were non-stop. No loss of life of major injuries have been reported besides what happened with Malcolm. MOPT crews have moved tons of mud, rocks, and fallen trees since Thursday night, but plenty of work still remains from marker KM 36 to KM 51. It's likely that Route 31 will remain closed throughout the weekend, particularly since MOPT crews are dealing with cold temperatures, heavy fog, and torrential rain. The National Institute of Meteorology is forecasting even more rain in Costa Rica over the next 2 days, particularly in the GAM during the afternoon and evening hours well into the night. You know, Malcolm's passing reminds us of how fragile life can be, even in the most beautiful places on earth. He was more than just Theo Huxtable. He was a father and a partner. He was an artist, a musician, and a cultural icon. And his legacy is going to live on, it's continuing to live on, not just in what he did, but, how he made people feel. So, guys, if you're watching this and you're planning to come to Costa Rica or anywhere tropical, be informed, be safe, respect the ocean, ask about weather conditions. You can also hit me up at NateNewState.com. Hit me up here on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, and don't assume that it's just bad luck, because nature doesn't play fair. As I tell you, man versus nature, nature usually wins. And let's take a moment to really honor Malcolm by doing what he did best, staying curious, passionate, and connect to other people and our world.
Nate in your state.